on the other one, you bastard!
So as you collect over the years, you lose a couple of figures along the way, and some of them you end up very sad about. So you search for it, and one day, it's right in front of you, and you grab it again. I mean, sure, G1ers will talk about that one elusive toy that costs them thousands and thousands of dollars to get a really good condition version of. But for me, well, I'm a Legends guy. Hunting those guys isn't nearly going to be as expensive. So, I believe it's Oz Comic Con, I'm looking around, and on a desk, I see this guy! Finally, after so many years, he's right in front of me. Considering my childhood copy is pretty it's really good to have this guy back in my life. And I am really excited to finally share the glory of Make a Ton of Cack. I gotta tell you, you have no idea how happy I am to have this back in my collection. One of my favorites as a child, one that many people are very fond of even to this day, and probably one of the best Legends figures on the market. This is how you do Chug Legends. This is the good shit. First thing you're gonna notice is the sculpt work. My word, the sculpt work is incredible. Matter of fact, I go as far as saying it's even better than Tankor, the one we reviewed yesterday. It's not as realistic, but my word, look at all of that greebling. That is insane. And all of this on the side as well. Yeah, this time they haven't actually painted the treads, but they more than make up for it with the beautiful purple camo. And yeah, the purple camo is a bit more realistic. It's not the G2 pow wham zowie purple camo that we all know and I suppose love. But it's interesting because at the time this came out, they were going for a more realistic take on the classic designs. It was less about the G1 cartoon and more about what would these characters look like if they were their G1 selves but today, as opposed to whatever the movie was doing. Really love the look of the gun. Yes, it's sideways with that thing looking out, but surprisingly it works well. And yeah, it does cover up the Decepticon symbol, but well, it's a Legends figure, what are you gonna do? Same with the fists back here, it's the tiny bit of kibble. It's really negligible. And same with the thighs back here. There's a lot you can forgive with this, because what it does right immensely well. It's also built, well, ironically, like a tank. The plastic is dense and thick. It's not spindly like some of the movie figures from the same size class. There's a lot of plastic here. It doesn't feel like it's going to break at all. Although, when transforming it, I would be a bit careful, because again, that's not my childhood copy, this is. Yeah, you can see the head snapped off because of the mushroom peg there. It's probably my fault, and it's just something to keep an eye on. Just be careful with it. I'll take full responsibility for that, but I won't take full responsibility for the Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. My sister broke it, not me. Don't blame me for it. I don't know what to say, man. It's just a fantastic tank. It's done amazingly. Yes, it's not a completely traditional G2 Megatron, and that's obviously not G2 Megatron, that's Generation Select's G2 Megatron, but the same thing applies. But part of his charm comes from that realistic difference. Despite having the purple on him, he looks like a proper tank. And sure, there is no articulation to speak of, no turret rotation, and no cannon rotation either, but it's a Legends figure, I don't know what to say. And it is still better than that thing. Love the colors, not a fan of the mold. Anyway, size-wise, he is roughly 6.3 centimeters if you just include the chassis, 7.5 if you include the cannon, 3.2 centimeters wide, and 2.8 centimeters tall. And size-wise, here he is next to a standard Legion figure, and you can see that he is pretty small for the time, as you saw with Tankor. Legion Legends were a bit bigger back then, so the fact that they crammed all of that plastic into a smaller package is quite commendable. And of course, a standard Legends figure, a standard Earthrise Micromaster, and I just noticed this one, the wheel fell off. Oh, I better fix that. And crumbs! So, have you transformed the original Make a Ton of Cack before? Well, this is pretty similar. Arms fold down, legs peg out of there and fold down, chest folds forward, and you bring the arms down with it. And this is a different bit. The gun is actually attached to the head, so you rotate that while bringing it around there. That is a remarkable way of recreating the design without having to resort to the spring-loaded gimmick. And the end result is marvelous. And oh god, the robot mode. Jesus, that is a beautiful robot mode with perfect proportions, perfect sculpting, great colors, just everything about this is magnificent. I don't know where to begin, man. I guess I started off with the proportions first. You get the perfect tank chest. The arms are a bit higher, but they still look marvelous. The legs are just done brilliantly with extra mechanical detail revealed. And the way the feet just fold out of the tank turret is, well, just magnificent. I know I've been extremely positive with these videos so far at the start of this marathon, but just all the figures that I've chosen this year have been marvelous. The head sculpt too, oh my god, it is quintessentially Megatron. It's a bit sloped off so that the cannon can rotate around at the back, but the face itself, ooh, that is mean. Bit squinted, but on a small size like this, it doesn't matter, it's a Legends figure. The back is not the best, it's a bit hollow in areas with the exposed shoulders and the hollowness there, but size and all that jazz. The colors really work in this, like you can see the purple, but it's subtle enough. You don't notice it a lot of the time, it gives them an extra bit of detail without being overbearing. Not to say I don't love the G2 original color scheme, like I kind of prefer that color scheme, but this is also really damn good in its own right. Honestly, this is so good that it's practically screaming the voice of doom, as the commercials said. Articulation is alright, I suppose. It's lovely that he has a rotating head and the cannon also goes with him. That is fantastic in my book. Rotating shoulders due to the transformation, and ball joints here that act more as a hinge. And then your standard ball jointed hips. Unfortunately, they don't really go out due to the sculpting, but you get a nice deep knee bend that works great. But you don't really need to pose this guy to make him look menacing. He looks menacing on his own. He is great. In fact, I go as far as saying it is infinitely better than the Generation Selects version that we got recently. Aside from the better proportions, way better head sculpt. Jesus, what is that? It's also got a much more smooth transformation, and it doesn't look like he's wearing purple diapers. You cannot unsee that now. Anyway, size-wise, he is approximately 8 centimeters tall and 5 centimeters wide. And of course, size comparisons, here he is next to a standard Legion figure, and again highlighting the fact that this was before the size decrease, so they're taking one of the larger Legion figures, although not Legends Legion, you get the point. Taking one of the larger sized Legion figures from the Unicron Trilogy 07 and 2009 movies, and shrinking it into a smaller package, so there's a lot of dense plastic in here. A standard Legends figure, a standard Earthrise Micromaster, still missing a wheel, I'll get on that, and Crumbs. So yes, absolutely marvelous little tank. This guy is so good that he's one of the few Legion figures that I wouldn't mind getting multiple versions of. I did buy the purple one years ago, and then never paid for shipping and completely forgot about it, which is a bit of a mistake there. But who knows, maybe I can hunt him down and get him eventually. For now though, I'm very happy to have this guy back in my collection. Definitely pick this one up if you can. He's magnificent. There aren't a lot of people that remember this Megatron, but amongst those that do, he is highly regarded for a reason. He is the perfect modern update to the classic Generation 2 Megatron. And yeah, some people who aren't a fan of Legends might say, oh, it's too small, but come on. Who wouldn't want a pocket-sized Megatron? I don't know why you don't like small figures, man. I just don't get it. And if you don't like small figures, well, why are you watching this video, especially this late? Legitimately, he is far better than the Generation Selects version that we got recently. The transformation is far more smooth, the tabs don't get stuck all the time, and hey, no parts forming, that's a plus. Plus, he's an original figure designed from the ground up. He's not just a slapdash repaint designed to appease fans of the Generation 2 line. I do get why Hasbro has been reluctant to go back to Generation 2 until recently, because it did almost kill the franchise. But I am glad that at least Megatron got the love and attention he deserved, especially in the engineering department. And honestly, after messing with this guy, I really need to get some redecos of this because he is that good. But sometimes figures from your childhood aren't that good. Sometimes you miss a few even as a kid, and, well, they turn out to be a shit show. And, well, tomorrow's isn't quite a shit show, but I probably should have left him in the past.